What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's your boy DJ Chris Styles, 95.9 FM, the DJ Chris Styles Show. I got a really dope interview for you guys today. The series creators, directors, writers, you name it, these women does it. I have Dana and Jolie. Did I get that right?
Yeah, perfect.
And they listen, they star in it, they write it, and let me get it right. Is it Dana that's loosely based off Dana?
Yes.
Lucy, see, I told you I did my research. I did my research. Lucy, first of all, who went to the University of Michigan?
I did.
Okay. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Because I am in Cleveland, Ohio, so you already know what it is.
Yeah, I do. Oh.
I'm a
We're friends, though, right? We're friends.
I'm a Michigan fan.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Go Blue. Let's go. Don't get caught up in that sign stealing stuff. We don't know anything about that. I just know we won.
We're missing the game tomorrow for our screening, but
yeah. Well, I am missing the game tomorrow. I'm actually gonna be in LA tomorrow. We're gonna talk about this because I'm gonna be in LA. I'm flying to LA tomorrow for some it's TV events, award stuff season. So out there, and this show is based on the East called Easter series, and as I recall reading your guys' bio, both you guys lived in New York and you was bi-coastal, and you said, hey, you could do some things in New York. People forget about it. Like, you don't always have to go to LA. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, making sure it's focused back on New York. Because now if we watch shows, a lot of them are taking place either in Atlanta or LA. Tell us about taking it back to the essence of New York.
Yeah, so when I graduated from Michigan at 22, I was a poli-sci major, and I realized that I did not want to go into politics. I did not want to go to law school. I didn't want to do any of the things that I thought. And so I ran to LA because everyone told me that if you want to make it in entertainment, you have to live in California. You have to go to Los Angeles. And I went there for 6 months, and I loved it. I love LA. I'm a fan of LA, but I kind of really didn't get a sense of, I never got my bearings because I'm born and raised in New York City, in Riverdale, in the Bronx. And my first 18 years of my life was in the city, in New York City. So I decided, why can't I come back to New York? And I did a couple of days in Chicago I thought maybe I should go to Chicago. And then I ended up in New York City. And I started my career in New York. And then the first 5 years of my career, I was a page at NBC, and I was working on a bunch of shows and for some really incredibly talented writers and producers. And then eventually I did go back to Los Angeles, and I spent 6 years there. And you can't get New York City out of me. I think anyone that has grown up in New York, it's like, it's the thing that's never going to die. So I came back here, and I really didn't want to give up my dream, but I really wanted to live in my dream city. And so that was sort of the birth of, I'm going to make this show. I'm going to call it East because, God damn it, I live in the East Coast and I want to. And then when Jolie and I met.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side of that, I actually grew up on the West Coast. I'm an LA girl, but have always felt like a New Yorker at heart. Everyone always assumed I was from New York. Like, what part of New York you're from? And I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to be. So I've been here now 15 years, and I love the industry in New York. I love the people in New York. I love the artists in New York. It's a very different vibe. And so when we started talking and I realized this project was about the industry, but the East Coast version, right? Everyone says Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. We're part of Hollywood, but we're not in Hollywood, right? Like, we're feeding the same machine. We're just doing it from a different city.
I think that's what's so clever about that, about this show, the series, how you guys have, maybe, let me get this right now, 2 different sections. You have the actors, then you have the industry part of it, and you are showing both sides of it and how they are operating. And I think the first scene of the pilot, I hope I ain't giving anything away for people. If you don't,
it's all good. It's all good.
Nothing I can do about it is, listen, the actor dies on the set, and the way they're like, okay, you gotta find somebody right now. I'm like, whoa, hold up.
I'm gonna recast and move on, right? It's harsh.
Tell us a little bit about that first pilot, and guess, excuse me, the screenplay of that one.
Sure. Yeah. So I wrote the pilot in 2017 for a short film challenge, and so when I started out, I wanted to be an actress, but I didn't really know anything about the business. And I got my job at NBC, and that's a training program. It's this incredible training program in New York and in LA, and I was working in 30 Rock, and I was working for, you're like the coffee girl, but you're the coffee girl to all the big dogs. All the big dogs. Yeah.
Everybody's there.
Yeah, you're the puppy in that world.
What was okay, you was the coffee girl, but what was the most ordered coffee out of that?
Actually, to be honest with you, it was the cookies in the green room.
Oh.
Every day I had to make sure that by 5 o'clock, the sugar cookies were in the green room for the guests, because I was a page on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, and I was a page for Saturday Night Live. So
it's about that sugar.
Yeah.
They need that sugar.
I guess I was really the cookie girl. The cookie.
It was the cookie girl. That was it.
Girl Scout. Girl Scout. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so not a Girl Scout.
NBC Girl Scout.
Well, so I can see, I didn't mean to cut you off. So I can see that you're starting to formulate that pilot from watching the NBC, from being at NBC.
Yeah. So not that any of those like hardcore executives that I met it in, it's not based on them. No one's ever said that about a dead actor.
Let's not put that out there. It's not based on them.
Not based on that. Let's be clear.
It's a very amplified version of what people think the industry is like, right?
But because the first couple years of my career, I was on that side of it, not on the acting side of it, not on the writing or acting side, but I was a writer's assistant and a production assistant, and I was in that world. I kind of and then when I went in as an actor, I kind of had this I could see both sides of the coin, and that, I love that, because the truth is that everybody has dreams, right? And everybody's kind of going for the same thing, but we're all getting there in different ways. And so I just kind of wanted to juxtapose like a very sort of hardcore money-making world with this like incredibly passionate, I'll do anything for free. And that's kind of the inspiration of, there's a dead actor on the set, who cares, we have to recast, this is about money. So, and I just thought if I go all the way that way, then that juxtaposed with the people that would give anything to work for a day as an actor, then that's a really interesting push-pull dynamic. And that was sort of the creation of the series.
Oh, that is so dope. The DJ Cristal Show, Dana Jolie of East, the series. So one thing I love about this is when I did the research on you guys, it's the women empowerment that I'm seeing here, right? And I think that's also, I have daughters, so like I'm real, I was one of them dads. My daughter, who's now in college right now, played softball, and I was one. No, they need to get the same uniforms the guys are getting. Like, not playing. They need. No, I'm all on it. So
yeah,
watching it and reading guys' background. How big is this? You talk about a series that are headed by two women that is really in the industry, been in it for so many years, and while Hollywood sometimes don't give you guys the respect that it's supposed to get. Like how significant,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, how significant is this? You got two women. I
wanted to hear the part about how we don't get the respect we deserve. That part again.
Yeah. Don't get the respect that you're supposed to get. And we talk about a real big series, right? And this is the great thing. Like, tell us about that. Tell us about this. You're putting the pilot out, and what are the people saying? Where I'm saying, like, let's put the real conversation out here. Right? What are you thinking about this? Like, what is the roadblocks that you're seeing?
I mean, going back to what you were just saying about the female empowerment part of it, being in a female-driven project in itself, there's so much power. Right? Like Dana is the one woman machine behind it. And, in terms of creating the show, she wrote it, she's directing it, she's starring in it. All the main cast really are these females. And what we represent in the show, I think, is really interesting too, is we're representing people at different levels of success, right?
Yes.
And we're all going after it. And even like my character, who is this really successful studio head, she's still fighting. She's still fighting to get a message heard. She's still fighting to make good content. She's still, you know, so it's like, and down to like the newbie actress who has no idea what she's doing. And it's kind of like, I don't know what I need to do. And then kind of all these other storylines in between. Basically, at the end of the day, you have all these mostly female characters who are fighting the good fight to be happy, to follow their dreams, no matter what everyone says, no matter her character, her family's like, no, no, you're going to be a lawyer. And she's like, no, actually. So it's like, they're all kind of in this struggle of finding their happy in who they are and being true to that and identifying with that and kind of telling everyone else to skate, you know, it's like, oh, this is who I am. So in it, I think is like the power, right? Just in the journey.
Yeah, the journey, and also the diversity. When you wrote the script and the pilot, I mean, when you formulated the idea for the show, I love the diversity in the show.
So important. That was so important.
I looked over the cast, right? Because I only get the first pilot, so I get to see the whole cast, right? Get the stuff, and I'm like, oh, hold up, they onto something that you would not normally see in a quote unquote normal Hollywood or that type of series. Was that one of the big issues that you wanted to portray over the screen?
100%. I mean, first of all, New York City, diversity is so important, and to show characters from all backgrounds at all stages, like Jolie said, of their career. That's a big part of the show, and I think a passionate issue for both of us. So yes, that was definitely, it's a beautiful, colorful show because New York City, because this country is beautiful and colorful,
yes.
right? Yeah. And we want to show
world,
that.
Yeah.
The world. Yeah. Thank you. And if New York City being a microcosm of that, then it's so important to show these characters from all different places. But I do want to say about the women, about your other question about the women, because Jolie is the executive producer with me on it and also one of the stars in it. I think having a female partner, she's amazing, and I could not have done this show without her, and having somebody that you trust that also happens to be a woman and have each other's back in ways that you would not expect, I think was one of the most beautiful experiences about putting this production together. So I just want to say that Jolie was just so instrumental in bringing this show to life. And I think women need to help each other. I think
lift each other up.
And I think in terms of women in Hollywood, for me, I think I was a little naive in my 20s about whether or not being a woman stopped me, because nothing was going to ever stop me. So if somebody said she doesn't have the job because she's a woman, I don't think I even heard it. I was like, well, then I'll get another job, or then I'll apply to this job, but and when people would come to me and say, do you think it's because you're a woman? I never really bought into that, but that's not to say it doesn't exist.
It's the reality.
It's just to say that that was not ever going to stop me. And I don't think that would ever stop you either.
I mean, here we are.
Yeah.
Here you are. It's the series here with Dana and Jolie, the creators, executive producers, writers, directors, everything. I think that's the amazing thing. How tough is it to direct and act and executive produce on a show that you're filming? Like, it got to be like, okay, how was that a daily process? Where do you sleep at? That's the real question.
We didn't sleep. We didn't sleep for 22 days. We did not sleep. We barely ate.
Well, it was 2.5. It was actually, the shoot lasted 2.5 months.
Right, but it was 22 days of shooting over those 2.5 months.
Yeah,
that was a lot of work.
It was. So I've done other projects that I write, direct, and act in. So I was used to throwing myself in as an actor, taking myself out, being a director, even in the same day or in the same scene. Being able to step out of me, the actor. So I had a lot of experience doing that, but this was the largest project I've done where I did that. And I think that it's really a testament to my team. Jolie. So if I'm directing and I know that Jolie is taking care of all the producer things that day and making sure that we have what we need and the logistics are taken care of, and trusting my cinematographer, Toru Nishikubo, and our